Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my 23/22 week bump date, 22/23 week bump date. So this couple of weeks I've actually been quite good and been writing down things as they happen so I can remember for this video, because every now and then something will happen and I'll forget to talk about it on here. But let's jump right into some of the symptoms that I've been having these last 2 weeks. So first of all, baby is still really active and moving about a lot at the moment. Very often feel them kicking or moving or whatever they're doing. But something happened for the first time in my pregnancy about a week ago now, which is that they kicked me in the cervix for the first time, and oh my goodness, if you have not been kicked in the cervix before by baby, you do not know what this feels like, but it is quite painful. I was out with my mum, we were visiting like a gardens, I think we were in Windsor actually, visiting one of the royal gardens down there, and we were just walking along a little bit, and literally I felt it. I was literally walking along and felt like a kick in my cervix, and I doubled over like, ah! What was that? It was really quite strong. So yeah, don't really recommend it, but nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. But yeah, that was really uncomfortable. So it'll be fun to see how that progresses over the weeks. Hasn't happened again since, I will say, so we'll see. But yeah, that was an interesting experience. Something else that I've noticed, and actually I think I've noticed this for a couple of weeks now, is my skin and my hair has been really good in pregnancy. It's probably not looking that great now because I just got back from some pregnancy yoga that I've been doing. But it is like so luscious. I don't need to wash it anywhere near as often as I did before I got pregnant. My skin, I have the odd spot pop up every now and then, but generally speaking, it's pretty good. And I have been using some, hang on, I'll grab it. This is the Burt's Bees Mama Nourishing Belly Butter, which I've been rubbing like all over my stomach and down my thighs, just to kind of help with stretching. I don't know if it'll help with stretch marks or anything, but it's more for me like stretching pain. That's why I want to try and kind of ease. So I put this on every evening before I go to bed, and it's just moisturizing cream, to be honest. So that's what it looks like, and so far so good. Haven't really had any stretching pain or anything, although my bump is progressing quite slowly, which I'm very happy with. But that's what I've been using on my belly, and I haven't really been using anything on my skin because I'm very lazy. Even like pre-pregnancy I didn't really use anything, but I have definitely noticed my hair is really luscious and thick and doesn't need washing as often, and my skin is doing really well. So something else that I've noticed during my pregnancy, which I haven't really talked about before, and I think I've had it for almost all my pregnancy, but I only really picked up on this the other week, and that is that I am not sweating. So what I mean by that is like I don't smell. Like, you know when you work out really hard and you can kind of smell on your armpits, you go, or you can really smell that you've worked out. That's not happening to me now. Like that smell has completely gone, that odor. And yeah, I guess unless I got really anxious about something, or I don't know, for example, if I was sitting at an awards show waiting to hear if I'd won something, I can generally feel that I get really sweaty and I smell quite a bit then, like that kind of anxiety. But I think I probably would, I haven't had an awards show since I've been pregnant, but I think I would probably sweat in that environment. But otherwise, like normal times, I've just noticed that I'm much less smelly than I might have been. I'm not a particularly sweaty person anyway pre-pregnancy, but that is something I really did notice that has gone in pregnancy. Other symptoms, bloating is still persisting, fainting stuff. I booked a call with the doctor. Actually, I filled in an online form and was like, these are my symptoms. Would just like to speak to someone to be like, is there anything you can do medical wise about it? And so you fill in like an online triage form with my GP, and they basically decide what the next course of action is. I had a call back the next day. They were like, this is an urgent thing, because I'd said I was fainting and having heart palpitations, etc. And I saw the doctor. I was in the Cotswolds at the time. My mum and I took like a little baby moon spa break out there, which was really nice. And we drove back, and then I went to the GP, and she checked my blood pressure. She checked my blood pressure sitting down, standing up after quite a while, like just to see what was happening. And it was on the lower end as usual, but it wasn't like abnormally low. And she ordered the blood test for me, which I had done because I'm really pale, and they keep thinking like, oh, you might be anemic. And they check for it again and again and again, and it's never a problem. Sure enough, today I had a call back from the doctor, and they said all your levels are fine, your liver's fine, your kidney's fine, your iron levels are fine, all looks good. The only thing that came back slightly raised was my white blood cell count, and I've got a little bit of a cold, as you might be able to tell, which is probably why my white blood cell count came back a little bit high. because otherwise I've had no other symptoms, and she said that's not really something we're particularly worried about because it was only slightly over or something. It wasn't like drastic. So anyway, long or the short of it is there's no medication I can take, nothing else I can do. I just wanted to double check it, and I was like, is there anything you can do for this? And the answer to that is just, as always, drink more water. So here we are again. It's a battle I am trying with, but I think I'm starting to get some of my independence back again. So moving on to like my mental health now. My mental health's actually been pretty good these last 2 weeks. I've done a lot better recently, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that's going to continue. I even managed to go back to my flat, not last night, the night before, for my first night sleeping there since literally August. Like, I've been with my parents for 3 months now because I've just been so unwell. So that was a really big milestone. I'm planning to go back again tomorrow and spend another night. So just kind of easing myself into like starting to cook some meals for myself there, you know, staying the night there, but still coming back and staying with my parents. So it's not like a big adjustment of I'm moving out on this day and it's like quite overwhelming, etc. Just trying to ease myself back in there and get some of my independence back again, because that's what I've really missed, I think, the most in this time. That's something I really struggle with because of my history of Lyme disease. Just losing my independence has been really difficult with the pregnancy. So getting some of that back is, I think, definitely going to be helpful to me. So I managed tonight, which is really good, and I was absolutely fine. So hopefully that will continue to do well. What else is there to talk about? Oh yeah, so pregnancy yoga. So this is something I debated whether or not I wanted to do. And I was always a bit kind of on the fence because it usually costs quite a lot of money to do pregnancy yoga. But where I live, we have really good children's centres, which are basically kind of like, if you're in the UK, you might have heard of Sure Start centres, and they're basically that. Essentially, they're centres that offer lots of support for families with children under the age of 0 to 5. But I found out through pure chance, because I previously have fostered and I've used them a lot and they are excellent. I'm on one of the online kind of Facebook pages for them, and they popped up that they were doing some pregnancy yoga. So I messaged them and was like, could I apply for this? I registered with the children's centre, and is it free? And they came back and said, yeah, it's free and you can book on the course. So I did. So I'm getting some free pregnancy yoga, 6-week free pregnancy yoga course. And I was like, why not give it a try? Because I used to be a dancer. I did a little bit of yoga on and off over the years, dancing and post-dancing. It's not really something I love, but it's something I thought I'd enjoy, and I wondered if it could maybe help with like the connection to baby and stuff, but I'm just kind of like trying to ease into things. But I did it today and it was actually really good, so I'm pleased that I did that, and I'll definitely go back next week. And again, it's getting me out of the house and doing things independently again, so that's good too. So then I think the final thing I want to talk about quickly before moving on to doing my bump kind of shot is the baby registry. So I mentioned this in my last video. I asked if people wanted me to do an Amazon baby registry, so that people could send me little things for the little one. And I had an overwhelming response, people saying, yes, please do that. So thank you for your feedback. I have put one together. I will put the link down below at underneath this video in the description box, so that any of you who were interested in that can go and take a look. I tried to keep it so I don't think there's anything, or there might only be one item that's over £30, but I try to keep it like smaller things, so just little things like teethers and stuff for people to send, because I'm very lucky. I do have quite a lot of stuff, and actually I did sort out this week, went through all the baby clothes that I've had for my previous children. I mean, sometimes they move on and they take all the clothes with them, so there's the odd age where there's barely anything, and there's some ages where there's everything. So it's quite an interesting mix. But I did sort through my baby stuff. But there are some little things that I would quite like to get for my own baby, so I've put those on the registry. And if you'd like to send them, then, you know, thank you very much. If not, please don't feel any pressure. I just had people asking me to do that, so I have made that for you. So yeah, thanks so much for that, everyone. And I will do a video as well, kind of going through everything that I got from the registry, so you can see, and I can hopefully thank you personally if you're someone that sent something. Right, well, I think that's it for 23 weeks. Been pretty an uneventful couple of weeks, and generally doing quite well. So hopefully that continues. Let's move on to the bump shot. Okay, so this is my belly with my clothes on. I've got quite a baggy top on here, actually. I'll take that off. And then just move this out the way, my yoga pants, pull these down. That's belly from the front at 23 weeks, and from the side. And this side. Yep, it's slowly growing. Definitely can feel it and see it more now. But yeah, nice little bump. So yeah, that is everything for 22/23 weeks of pregnancy. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Do please subscribe, and I will be back to update you in another couple of weeks. Bye everyone. Thanks for watching.